What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is ICNV Driver's Edition, what I like to call the car enthusiast hangout spot, where it's a community where we all come and talk about interesting conversations that we like to discuss. And today we're going back into the Corvette topic about the Corvette C8, and we're going to talk about, is it, or should I say, are there too many Corvette C8s produced to the date, and should they slow down on production? Let's talk about it. Well, let's get through the formalities. My name is Sho, and this is ICNV Driver's Edition. And today we're talking about Corvette C8 production. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. While at the bar eating some wings, I got into a conversation with a guy because he saw my Corvette key on my keychain about Corvettes. The conversation drifted into a place I hadn't really thought about, and that was, has the C8 market produced too many Corvettes? Has it actually been saturated or flooded? And we're looking at the possibility, let's just say, too much production means the actual value of the car is going to drop like crazy. To actually discuss this topic, I think we need to take a step back and talk about the overall C8 production. We know in 2020, the numbers never got quite to where they wanted to be. 2021 was a tad bit better. 2022 was, I would say, underperformed. And then 2023, lo and behold, we had a crazy breakout in production, but that's only because they extended the production run quite longer than any other model year in the past. So I think in 2023, we saw somewhere around 53,000 cars being built. So overall, if you think about it from that purpose, and I want you to hold on to that, 53,000 Corvette C8s were produced for the model year of 2023 alone. But when you take a step back and reflect, year to date, and it's February of 2024, we're right around 130,000 cars. So we really didn't produce a lot of Corvette C8s until the 2023 model year, which gave a lot of people hope, but it also kind of condensed the production going forward. And we'll talk about that a little later in the video. So as we move forward, and we're sitting somewhere right around close to 130,000 cars, the question becomes, have there been too many Corvette C8s produced for the marketplace? And I think we also have to go back to the release or the reveal of the 2020 Corvette C8. And one of the things that was sat there and said in that reveal was, the Corvette C8 is being built to target a new market of customers. They felt that the loyal Corvette customers would stay attached to the brand as it goes on anyway, but they want to bring in a younger crowd. So if you think about this, the C6s and below were all average age Corvette owners of right around 53 years old. The C7 came into play, and the average Corvette owner age for that car, and remember, these numbers are going off brand new purchases from the dealership, but the average Corvette owner for that age was typically right around 47, 48. So we're talking about a car that historically has been purchased by the older market brand new. Well, GM kind of wanted to change that with the Corvette C8. So with the new styling, the mid-engine platform, they went after younger buyers. And I think they succeeded because the average age of a Corvette C8 owner has been just above the age of 40 years old. And at one point in time, I think it was back in 2021, while the pricing was high and a lot of the older guys were refusing to buy the Corvette C8 because of market adjustments, the average owner age was actually 38 years old, which tells you a lot about the marketplace of this Corvette C8. So if you think about that and use that as a focal point or a baseline, there are still a lot of the the traditional and older Corvette owners who never really got their hands on the Corvette C8. Not to mention, there are still a lot of the younger crowd who are still looking to get their hands on the Corvette C8. So do I think the car has been overproduced at this point? No. And the reason why I sit there and say that to you is, even if you go on the marketplace and compare, you have to understand the Corvette C7 has been out a lot longer, and the Corvette C8, as far as volume-wise goes, on the amount of total Corvette C7s made, to me that tells me that although we have seen a record amount of Corvette C8s built, a record amount of Corvettes built, there are a lot of people that are still purchasing this car and keeping it. And that's the fact I would like to say. There are a lot of people purchasing this car and keeping it. And the one thing about it is, Corvette, to me, is finally sticking to the self-imposed label, which is the poor man's supercar. So I see now more than ever, people I talk to that never would have considered a Corvette C7 or C6 or C5, they are going out and chasing the Corvette C8. I've seen Corvette C7 owners who say, I would never buy a Corvette C8. It's not true to the heritage of the Corvette. But then in 2024, 2023, they're getting the opportunity to get behind of a base C8, and they're saying this is the most impressive car they've ever driven. So when this conversation comes up about, are there too many Corvette C8s produced? Is the Corvette C8 marketplace flooded? I really believe this conversation is coming up by a lot of people who actually don't even own the car, plan to own the car, or just can't get their hands on one, and they're looking for another reason to bash the car. Let's take a quick break, and do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, help me reach my goal of 25 before 25, which is 2,500 subscribers before the year 2025. We're chasing the movement. Be part of it. Join the channel, especially if you like the content you've seen so far. We have more stuff like this coming your way, and you too can help guide the focus of the content that comes your way. So subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. In my history of automobile ownership, I've never seen a car like the Corvette C8 before that has so much love and receives so much hate at the same time. There is like two different sides of the market pulling at this car. There are people that love this car to the fullest. There are people that try to bash this car to the fullest and dictate or argue about what it actually is. But if you really want to get into that, let's talk about what this car is. This car is probably the first mid-engine built vehicle that puts up supercar performance. So when people say the Corvette C8 is overrated, because you hear that a lot from the people that try to hate on the Corvette C8. And my question to you, and please drop in the comment below, is what other 400 horsepower supercar, or let's just say under 500 horsepower supercar, outperforms the Corvette C8? So when you look at supercars, many people try to compare the base Corvette C8 to a supercar pushing out 600 horsepower and then want to tell you why it falls short or why it isn't a true supercar. But when you look at cars that are considered supercars or borderline supercars, like an Aston Martin Vantage, or hey, a Mercedes AMG GTS, which some people like to categorize as supercars, we can argue that at a later time, the Corvette C8 still outperforms them. So the mid-engine platform done by Chevy, just because it's mass produced, has not been a disappointment in production and performance. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you have the people that love the Corvette C8, and they understand what they bought. And although a lot of people like myself still may desire or want more, it's hard to replace this car with anything that's out for the price, for the performance level, and actually the luxury features that come with it. So I always find myself sitting on the fence saying, what can I replace it for? Because although I like the performance, I don't want to sacrifice the performance for the luxury and the look. But then if I sacrifice the look and the entertainment value as far as the sound system and things like that go, I may get a little bit more performance, but it doesn't really remain the same emotional connection to the drive. So the Corvette C8, in my opinion, is a car that's hard to hate when you compare it side by side with anything that can truly compete with it, or should I say in the same range of competition. I will say this going forward. When it comes to future orders, the production hasn't really hurt the 2024 model year order cycle. There are still lists out there for people to get on to actually order a base Corvette C8. I don't know if that's mainly due to the factor that people want to customize a car to their desire, or is it just become the new trend to order your own car? That's something we have to go over. But what I will sit there and say to you is, going forward, I believe 2025 will be the first year when it comes to the Corvette C8 base production that you will see more dealerships order stock inventory and actually have cars sitting on the floor for sale that was not customer ordered. It's taken us almost 6 model years of production to get to the point where we can put a car on the floor. So as time goes forward, I think the marketplace with a car sitting on the floor will slowly start to balance out. But I still don't believe that we have seen the end of the market desire and ownership space for Corvette C8. Let me know what your thoughts are and how you think this is actually going to play out going forward. But I'm going to give you my thoughts before I let you go. And my thoughts are, if you look at the Corvette C8, there has been about 3,250 C8 Z06s made for 2024 so far, and only 49 E-rays to date. And like I said, this is mid-February. Last year, they produced 6,200 and some odd Corvette C8 Z06s. So even so far, we have not crossed the threshold of 10,000 Corvette C8 Z06s made. I've said this before, I really don't believe we're going to see 12,000 Corvette C8 Z06s made for the 2024 model year. I think that number is going to be closer to 10,000 and probably still finds its way to remain under it for 2024. So although many people have this expectation that the C8 Z06 is going to be a mass-produced flooded car to the market, I think we may see more of that in 2025. But as of today, the C8 Z06 is going to remain rare. The Corvette C8 is finally, I would say, balancing out. And I expect going forward that we probably won't see rebates in the year 2025, but what we probably start to see is more of a balanced marketplace, whereas you can negotiate on a Corvette C8 that's sitting on the floor brand new. But I don't expect rebates until probably 2026. So let that sink in. But that's my viewpoint on has the marketplace been flooded. And I guess to give you a more firm answer, I would say no, not as of yet. Maybe in 2026 if the production doesn't change, but there are still a lot of people out there in the market, a lot of older C7 guys, C6 guys, who if you look on Facebook are slowly starting to merge over to the Corvette C8 marketplace now because they feel like all the absurd ADMs are gone. And when they're getting behind the wheels of this car, they are so impressed. And I won't lie, compared to a C5, a C6, and a C7, the C8 is a totally different animal, and it's almost hard not to like or enjoy. So let that sink in for all my loyal Corvette owners who still don't believe the C8 is a true Corvette. Get behind the wheels of one and then make that decision. But as always, ICNV Driver's Edition, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the ICNV Drive District community. This is an interactive community, which means if you hit me up on any one of my social media platforms, I will do my best to respond. Or if the topic is interesting enough, I may make a video on it. But remember, chase your dreams, build your visions. Don't let anyone discourage you. It is okay to be unique. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you in these streets. Peace.